Psst, check this out.
All right, welcome to another episode of the Back Channel. In today's episode, I'm kind of calling this my deep dive into cold outreach. Now, if any of you follow me on social media or my writing or are in my community, you probably heard me say or write that I don't love cold outreach, that all of my fundraising philosophies drive through warm outreach. But there is a little asterisk in that, which is that I do say also that cold outreach should be a component of every great fundraise. Is just way smaller than I think most founders hope it would be, because they go into the work of like, what would it take to get intros into investors, et cetera? And they're like, man, that takes a lot. 6 emails before you actually even get a connection with an investor. Might as well just find their email address and draft this email that is amazing and actually gets them interested. I'm just going to do that and hammer 100, 200, 300,000 investor emails with the same message, hoping to get a meeting. That doesn't work. I think cold outreach is a part, but it should only be 5% of your total target list. And essentially what you get to is a trade-off of like, I could keep working on warm outreaches, but don't have enough time. Got to get going. So it is a part of every fundraise, but people have to understand why it's bad inherently, so that you can actually address that in your approach to cold email. So why is it bad? Well, we talk a little bit about how there is imperfect data in investing. And so you're looking for signals as an investor all the time to figure out, is this a deal that makes sense to look at? Now, the reality is a lot of VCs kind of believe that if you can't get to me through a warm channel, or if I haven't heard about you through my whisper network or all the work that I'm doing through trying to get deal flow, trying to understand who the best founders are, well, then if someone's reaching out to me cold, it's probably a bad deal. So what we have to do when we use cold email is we have to nip that in the bud. We have to make sure that we answer the question of why am I using cold outreach at this moment, as opposed to the channels that you would expect a good deal to go through. So what are the reasons? Well, from a initial point of view, it could be our round is going really fast. I don't really have time to mess around with this. And by the way, here are some quick details on how good our company is that'll validate that claim, that the reason I'm not doing this is that we're just moving too fast. So if you want to get on and talk to me, you can. So that's one way of doing it. What's another way of doing it? I've been particularly fond of encouraging this tactic, which tends to work well, which is if you are traveling to a city where an investor lives, a cold outreach that says, hey, Jason, saw that you live in Los Angeles. I'm a founder that does X, Y, and Z, and I live in different city Y. I happen to be in LA this coming week and meeting with a bunch of investors. Let me know if you have time. Would love to chat. I think your focus area aligns with what we do. Now, that works particularly well. Why? The founders I see that do best in company building and fundraising have a secret weapon. Their secret weapon is a community of people, of experts, of peers in the startup industry that they can ask for help from at any time, guide them through processes like fundraising. I wanted to make that easier for everyone else to have access to by building the Adamant Fundraising program and community. This gives you access to 75 different training videos around the fundraising process to give you that expert starting point around how to actually execute fundraising, and then access to a community where we host live pitch deck teardowns and office hours every week to make sure that you can ask the minute questions on how your deck should be better, how you should reform your strategy, how you should answer investors who are reaching out to you that you don't know how to answer. So if you want to check that out, if you want to get the secret weapon that I think a lot of the best founders have, check out adamantfundraising.com and join us today. Well, we answer the question of why is this outreach happening via cold? Well, it's happening via cold because you're reaching out, not because you're fundraising, but because you're traveling, and it actually does make sense to reach out for a meeting right now, because we could do it in person and we can't usually do that in person. Works surprisingly well. Obviously, that has to be done for a cold outreach to create a relationship. Harder to do in the flow of fundraising, although you can say like, I'm traveling and I'm kicking off a fundraise, but I would use that tactic to warm up a relationship, to start a relationship. What else? Okay. My other opener is to say that I could have gone through a bunch of different warm connections. So if you have warm connections with these people, but like just don't have the time, you list them. You say, I could have done friend A, I could have used friend B, but we just don't have time. So you're able to drop some credibility. It allows people to say, hey, this could have been actually an okay meeting to take. And I believe him that we could have connected through that warm introduction. What else? One thing I've seen work really well too is if you warm up the relationship via social media interaction so that your name is familiar, that actually has led to a higher rate of people accepting connections and accepting emails. So, also not super quick, and you can't jam into it, and it can't feel like automated bots just saying things. But if you follow them and they post regularly and you're liking their content, and every once in a while you have replied in a thoughtful and positive way, chances are they've seen your name, and that helps a ton. So warm up the account, warm up the like sort of digital relationship first, so that when your email does come in, you can say, I love what you post. I think you're a great, I think you have a great approach and thought process around this concept or this industry. Reaching out because of X, Y, and Z, or reaching out because we're doing a fundraise, and I actually think it would align with you. I think that helps a ton. So cold. Cold email, have it be part of your strategy, but just not a massive part of your strategy. And if you take some of these tips, I think it'll actually help increase your chance of using cold email as a successful tactic. All right. I hope this was a helpful episode of the Back Channel, and I'll see you next time.